Hey everyone, thank you so much. I was actually, I wasn't actually expecting a whole lot of people to come on. I'm really happy for the ones who have come on. Thank you, Adrian from Red Lentil Healing, Callie's Kids, Sharon Sipe, Carter Mancy Mesquite, Connie Brown, my soul sister. Thank you for coming on. If you'd like to donate, you can get me at PayPal, which is JazzyJzce at gmail.com. And my Cash App handle is a $, capital JAZZY, capital JZCE. I'll put it in the live stream. But I had to come on tonight. Wait a minute, let me get a chair so I can prop my feet up. I came on tonight because after watching a video for one of my very favorite vloggers, Dapper Dan Midas at Secretary of Shade, his YouTube channel is Secretary of Shade, and he is, wait a minute now, and he's a millennial. He's very articulate and very, very well researched. He brings the political message across in an urban, real way. He doesn't cuss as much as I do, but he does cuss. But he also brings it forth in a humorous way, so that unless, sometimes when we're discussing serious subjects, we can't really find the humor in it. We just have to get, like on my station, there are times when I really want to bring you funny things like a potato as a birth control method. Oh my God. I have a funny story for you at the end though, so if you can just hold tight. It just kind of fell in my lap. But anyway, I wanted it to be petty. I wanted people to understand that they could come on, they could be themselves. I don't censor because I'm not going to be censored. I let it be known that this is for entertainment purposes only, YouTube. My opinions are my own. And I just give it up the way I feel it in the moment. It's not always gentle. It's not always sweet, but there are times when delivering a message in a gentle and sweet manner, motherfuckers don't always get it. So sometimes you just have to come, straight and so that they understand. So I just wanted to piggyback on some of the comments that he made in his video. And if you haven't gone on to his channel, it's Secretary of Shade. And you'll enjoy him. He's got very interesting commentary. I'm just, typing in the chat. Thank you for joining me. I really do appreciate it as I navigate myself through these YouTube streets, attempting to figure out what I'd ultimately like my channel to look like, what I'm finding my way. I realize that I'm not get into that. Because as the topic says, we have an anti-woman sentiment or problem in America. Now, we actually have a few other problems. We have the problem of white supremacy. I'm hearing about another shooting in Colorado. They're not releasing any information because they said the cops are still processing the scene. So we don't know what happened there. But we can address the 8 Asian women who perished in Atlanta a few days ago because someone has a sexual addiction and was having a bad day. Okay? Now, I don't know what you were doing at 21, but I absolutely was not thinking about sex at 21. I was thinking about graduating from college and getting the fuck on up so I could go and realize my dream of being a successful person at whatever, at music mostly, but to be successful at whatever it was I had set my mind to do, because I knew that when I set my mind to something, that it was done. My mother instilled it. She said that there's no one that can stop you from achieving your goals but yourself. Now, going forward on the show, as I said, I'm thinking about what I'd like to do, how I'd like to look. As much as I can, I'll have Adrienne and Shay at Blissful Divination. Go check her out. Show her some love. She's fun and she's funny, and she does great reads on pop stuff. So I have to have she and Adrienne kind of keep me on top of pop information and pop things. So moving on, this anti-women problem we have in America. Doesn't matter. This is for all women who are educated, articulate, confident, strong, show leadership talents, have worked their asses off to break the glass ceiling, who are comfortable in their own skin, and who are highly opinionated. It seems like that's just an unacceptable thing in America. And then you have to add an extra layer of stank on it when you speak about Black women, Asian women, women of color, who are all of those things and highly opinionated. Somehow all of us are punished for that. It kept Neera Tanden for securing a position in Biden's cabinet or administration, because it was all right for 45 to call people out their names and hurl insults. Many of them in his administration did the same thing, but that was all right. You can vote to get a rapist on the Supreme Court for entertainment purposes only, YouTube. You can stand behind a man who was never thoroughly investigated, who was disrespectful to those who were questioning him, and who whined and cried like a petulant child. I believe he did that shit because he struck me as being some of the white cats I knew when I was in college who came from money, and they felt like they could do anything they wanted to do, because guess what? My daddy, I come from a family that can buy a wing. We can do all kinds of shit. So they didn't have any regard for females that were in college or in class. Whatever. They didn't care. The sexualization of Black women and Asian women has made us been categorized as throwaways. In this America, it doesn't matter how clean living you are. It doesn't matter how educated you are. None of these things matter when you are a Black person. Now, this 21-year-old belonged to an evangelical church who has since taken down their website. But evangelicals themselves have lied so much to the people in their churches that I'm not surprised that this kid came out, that this kid has some issues. If he was going to that church, on Petty Party, the cards told us that he could have possibly have been molested himself. So that is where this, and molested I'm feeling at a young age. So this had gone on for a long time, because I just can't imagine at 21 that I would have some kind of sexual obsession or addiction. But the thing is, he went to Asian massage parlors and killed 8 women. Somehow they were to blame for his uncontrollable desires. And the police coming out in cloaking, doing their best to not make this an anti-Asian hate crime. They did the same for Dylan Roof. He went into the AME church and killed people who prayed for him. Oh, he got a chance to have a bulletproof vest put on him, and hey, let's go get a Happy Meal. This young man, they said he surrendered without any kind of, he didn't put up any kind of fight. He just surrendered. Yeah, his ass was caught on his way to do more damage. But there's no way that anyone of color could have had all that ammo and not been a dead person, okay? Then we come to the Women's Protection Act. So we have a problem with white supremacy, we have a problem with racism, and we have a problem with anti-woman sentiment, and for some reason, these fucked up ideas. 70 plus Republicans voted against the Women's Protection Act. 70 plus men. I wonder what kind of women they're married to, how their wives can know that their men are out there voting and not even doing anything to protect their asses, and you just stand silent. You say nothing. I remember some years ago in an African village, I don't recall exactly what village it was or what nation state it was located in. The women there were finished with their husbands, not doing what they needed them to do. So they held off on the punani. They didn't give up any. They went on strike. And they stayed on strike until their husbands fell in line. And then even after they fell in line, they had to prove that they were going to stay in line, and you could only get with your woman by appointment. All hail the V, y'all. There's power in the puss. I digress. There are no laws in place that protect women. Now, men can get dick pumps, Cialis, Viagra, anything to keep their sagging, drooping, tired ass joints hard. They have insurance for that. Whatever they need, they can get it. Women, on the other hand, have anti-abortion. I'm not going to give you any insurance to help you purchase your birth control pills. Anti-this, anti-that. We have nothing in place that protects us and gives us license over our own bodies. So that if I don't want to give you any and you're my husband, but you can take it. You can rape me, and then I have to prove that you raped me. I'm a survivor, so I know what rape feels like. We have no laws in place that protects us, and we have 70 plus Republican dry ball, limp dick bastards who just simply didn't think it was necessary to vote into law something that would protect us from rape and abuse. We had a president who had 28 plus accusers that came forth saying that he had abused them. He stayed in office. Al Franken, who was a comedian, who was actually doing it, it was just a joke picture. It wasn't like he'd actually touched the chick. Her husband was there when it occurred. And Kirsten Gillibrand and a bunch of chicks got up and wanted him expelled. He was willing to go through an ethics hearing. And they wouldn't allow it. Democrats jump the gun because you want to take the moral high ground. I get it. That's why I feel like they need to let the investigation go forth with Cuomo. He probably did that stuff. But what we know and what we don't know is much more important. A lot of the claims that these women have made will not hold up in court. I'm here to tell you. They will not pass the smell test. Some of them may have lied. Some of them may have really felt like he was just acting unprofessionally and disrespectfully and all of that. I can't tell any woman how to feel. But I am willing to say, let's investigate this shit. Let's let the investigation play itself out, because intuitively, I just know that this is a very, very measured, very planned thing. Why are they going after Gavin Newsom? It seems like even Avenatti, who I really wanted to be a good guy, it seems like anybody who stood up to 45 and would not bow and kiss his ass or his ring are now having issues. I like Gavin Newsom, and to know that his ex-wife is on the peen of Junior has to be troublesome, because I'd be willing to bet you that when 45 was in office, he brought that shit up. We have no protection, ladies. I remember when I was raped, I went to the police. The policeman made me feel as if I asked for it. I deserved it. I was just coming into my home. Someone had broken in a very Tony part of LA. And he got busted. I guess he figured he'd get a little something extra since he was there. It was horrible. And he actually held a knife to my neck and just broke the skin. For a long time, I had a scar. It's awful. Awful. Recently in USA Today, it was reported that a man showed up at the vice president's residence loaded with an AK, assault weapon with a feed. And he was arrested. Thankfully, he was caught and arrested. Now, there is no mystery in what he intended to do. He wanted to kill everything and destroy everything in that residence, because once he put his finger on the trigger, it would have just kept going off. We have no protection. I know that I'm not everybody's flavor, because I'm highly opinionated. For a long time, I never voiced my opinion, so now I become a monster. I don't give a shit. It's my opinion. I know it's like assholes. I know everybody got one, but it's my opinion. I can exercise my First Amendment rights just as anyone else can. I used to speak quietly and kind and gentle, but you know what? Sometimes a motherfucker don't get it when you're glossing over it and sweet and kind and understanding. Sometimes you just go and just say it the way you're feeling it at that moment. I'm waiting to hear what happened in Colorado. But our collective thoughts and prayers and actions and deeds have to be attempting to stomp out, slow down, attack whatever we need to do with white supremacists. If the police treated the white supremacists the way they treated the Black Lives peaceful protesters in Lafayette, it was Lafayette Park. If they approach them in that same manner, I would feel a little bit better. But because these men they see their sons, there's systemic racism within the police department. They see their sons, they see their cousins, they see their uncles, they see their dad. They do not want to look in the face of one of their own and think that they're capable of doing such heinous things. You have a problem, you have a bad day, you go kill somebody. I've had plenty of bad days, but my first thought isn't to get a weapon and go out and kill people or take it out on other people because I'm having a bad day. The people that died, those women that died, the families that they left behind to mourn are having a bad day, a bad week. We have no protection. I think maybe the Women's Protection Act did get through, but I'm just appalled that 70 plus men didn't think that that they needed to do it. I'm appalled by that. And as I said at the top of the video, when you're an outspoken, opinionated, cussing woman like me, I know this is not just about your color. I know, I know it's not just about, because I know plenty of feisty white women and Asian women. But, oh gosh, I should be awful. I would just have to have the last word. It's only since I have met someone who has been able to kind of calm that thing down so that I listen. And it's never because there's a raised voice or anything. It's just merely commanding, having a commanding presence. So I know that I'm not everyone's flavor like that. The one thing I do appreciate Biden for doing is that he's put so many women and so many women of color in his cabinet. You cannot stop the divine feminine from rising up. You cannot, it's not going to happen. For all the people who are captivated by religion, all the Christians who want to go by the word of God. No, it's not the inerrant word of God. It's inspired. But anytime a man puts his hand to something, it becomes toxic. And some lies are infused at some point. If you read the Essene Gospels of Peace, which are Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, who were found, they were part of the treasure that came from the Nag Hammadi, and you read the Lord's Prayer, you will see that it is markedly different and longer than the King James Version of the Lord's Prayer. Jesus begins the Lord's Prayer by our Father, giving the Father in heaven praise and honor. And he goes on with this much longer version of it, speaking of the ways he deserves to be praised. And then he gives praise to our mother who art upon earth, and goes on to praise Mother and Mother Earth, to give thanks for Mother and Mother Earth. But no, men again wanted to keep us out of the ministry. You couldn't preach. You can't be a priest. You can't be a this. You can't be a that. Can't be in the pulpit. Can't do this, can't do that. Once again, this whole patriarchal in America, this white Anglo-Saxon Protestant thing that goes on, that women are supposed to be subservient or I think it's more subservience than it is submission. Because I will not submit if I have no respect for you and you have no respect for me. I will not. I think it's in Timothy that talks about how a man should treat his woman and how a woman should act. They forget about the part that says you ain't supposed to dog her out. You're not supposed to beat her. You're not supposed to abuse her. You're not supposed to give her emotional or spiritual or physical abuse. No abuse of any kind. I grieve with the families of those women that perished. I grieve with the George Floyds, the Sandra Blunts, the Tamir Rices, all the people that have perished at the hands of racist cops. Our beautiful Amanda Gorman said she was profiled by a security guard on her way home, or getting into a place that's a very nice place. I guess Black folks and brown folks who work hard aren't supposed to have nice homes, nice cars, nice clothes. Desiree says there's now 10 fatalities in Boulder. And I'm wondering why. How old was the shooter and why? I can't go over the Kyle Rittenhouses, the Dylan Roofs, and whatever this child's name that shot these women in Atlanta. Youngsters. We have a problem, and we have a problem with toxic masculinity. That says that whatever they want to do with their dicks is fine, and whatever they want to do to us with their dicks is fine. But we have absolutely no protection. Black women were sexualized. The Venus Revolution's muse is named Sarah Bartman. And the brilliant medical minds in the 18th century, just skipped from all the other things. One day I'll deliver what it all means. But she was not only thought to be the missing link between man and ape because of the structure of her vagina. These people thought that accounted for a Black woman's insatiable sexual appetite. So we were sexualized. We called belly warmers. We know what happened once they came to America and were slaves. I mean, we know very well that happened. Black women were subservient. We were throwaways. We never until recently ever been the lady of the house. We could be a servant. And to this day, there are neighborhoods here in Georgia that don't want to see anybody Black if they're not watching their badass kids or cleaning their filth. Because that's what we're supposed to do. To the gentleman or the fucker that thinks that lynching people is good, you need to be careful what you say. Because words have a way of coming back to bite you. There's nothing cool about you advocating lynching of anyone. There's nothing cool about these heinous abortion bills that these stupid ass men are passing in these states that makes it all right for even if you're underage, or even if you've been molested and you get pregnant, even if it's your daddy or relative. They want to pass bills that makes it impossible for you to get an abortion. Sometimes I'll go deeper into my rape story because it didn't just end with the rape. We have no protection. We have Amy Coney Barrett, that bitch, who was praised by Lindsey Graham for being anti-abortion and anti-this and anti-that and a constitutionalist and blah, 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 blah. That bitch. How dare you as a woman sit on the bench and not protect us? How dare you? So here we are in the 21st century, after, when white women were doing the suffragette movement to get they had some black women that helped them do that, but we weren't yet given the right to vote. And in the 21st century, in 2021, we're still fighting for the right to fucking vote. There was a time in China when infanticide was big. Men would kill their baby girls because they wanted sons. They quickly figured out, motherfucker, you can't have no baby with another man. So then they began to say, yeah, fuck freely. Let's have babies. Our population, our numbers are going down. I think now they might be restricted to this. I don't know. All I'm saying is none of these people who are these old ass men who can't perform anymore. And when you have to take a pill or something to get your dick hard, or when even that ain't working and you can't keep it up and stuff. For a man, that's a terrible thing. That is a terrible, terrible thing. For him not to be able to get a hard on, oh, life's over. Such fragile, fragile humans. You can't increase your population without us. And for you to not protect us or take women's choice away will only lead to more dangerous ways that women will use to get rid of a baby. The way the women showed up the day after Trump was inaugurated or went to, that is the way we need to keep showing up right now. We need to let these men know we will not have it. We aren't going to have it. Collectively, we will fight you tooth and motherfucking nail. We are not having it anymore. When Me Too started, there were several men that really needed to be outed. I have some issues with the Bill Cosby one, but I'll keep that to myself. That'll be another video. Because I knew some of the women, they were liars. But anyway, there were some men that needed to be called out because Hollywood, baby. Hollywood and the music business and the cast and couch and all of that, that's some real shit. That's real. It's a beast. Someone once told me, a man who was managing the singer that I and some other women were singing backing vocals for in his live performances in all the casinos. I would go in his room to get a cocktail before we hit the stage. And I went in one day and there was a Black woman on television singing. And he was sitting there, he and some of his cronies were watching. And he said, you know, Harnage, if you did the right thing, that could be you. Well, I asked him, what's the right thing? You hired me to sing, I'm doing that. Actually, I'm overperforming. I'm getting a lot of attention. What else do I need to do to be on television? To get my star on the right. What else? He got flushed. He was like really through with me because he should have known better though. He'd had enough encounters with me to know I wasn't down for any of that. In Hollywood, there weren't many Black women that could do with white aspiring actresses could do and still have any kind of dignity or reputation. You know, we just simply could not do that. I didn't want to anyway, because, you know, to my way of thinking, all right, I came here with my music, my resume, and I was referred to you by so and so and so who said you would dig it. And, you know, you want to ask me, what are my drugs of choice? Let's go sit on the sofa. And then stand in front of me with your crotch in my face. So to my thinking, if you're going to treat me like a hoe, then you can pay me. And I'm not cheap. And it infuriated a very powerful man. And so we can make it a bit. I came here for one thing. You're steering this in another direction, and we can discuss it. We can negotiate. Because if you pay, you're not going to tell. You're not going to dog me out. My agent called me right away. Yes, I did it. I said it. And it's not just in the world of the arts. It happens in corporate settings all the time. Now, I'm not offended if someone compliments me on a dress, if I look nice in a dress. Thank you very much, you know. I guess my skin is thick enough so that it takes a lot for me to finally turn around and set you straight if I'm feeling a certain kind of way about how you speak to me. And no one dared get close enough to touch me. That was, you know, I didn't give off that vibe at all. None of that's all right. But these kinds of activities happen to women in corporate structures. It happens in churches. Anywhere there's a man with a hard dick, it happens. And if we say something, we have to go the extra mile to prove that what we're saying is true. Because especially if the men are powerful and they have money and, you know, they make it a point to destroy your ass now. They make it a point. They make it a point to be vindictive. Plus, none of them were really attractive. I guess if I'd liked the way they looked, I might have considered it just because it might have been fun. But they were fat-bellied, ugly, greasy, big cap teeth, nasty bastards, stomach hanging over so you couldn't find it. They didn't know where it was either. I mean, they just, I just could never wrap my head around doing something like that in order to get a leg up in the music business. I just never could do it. Wouldn't do it. Made no sense to me. Because I like to make love. I don't look at sex as a bargaining chip. I would have that day because he's filthy rich. And if he really wanted it, he would have paid. He obviously could tell I had skills, not bragging, just fact. But this is what happened. This is what happens when there are men. And we can't even, there are women who do the same thing, unfortunately. There are women who treat some of their male employees the same way. None of it is good. None of it is good. Oh, yeah, I'm looking at old spirit out. If you defend yourself against their malicious mouth, they call you a bitch. Yeah, bitch. Carmen McCrae told me a long time ago when I was first starting out, she said, don't ever be afraid to be called a bitch. Babe in total control of herself. And if you're the one that is employing the musicians, if you're the one paying, you are the bitch, okay? Let me read some of your comments because I'm just chatting right now. Connie Brown says, then they make laws to dictate that part of our choices. Yeah, Aspie Third Eye says, took a non-gender specific middle name as an adult, as a woman. It has gotten me through doors that would otherwise never have opened. Maybe women should name their daughters Bill. Well, Jace is a prime example of that, Aspie Third Eye. It's a male name. And I've often been confused. There was once a time when I worked at a law firm and there was a man named Jace and then there was me named Jace. And people have often mistaken. I get like ads when I go to spam. I get ads about how to keep my woman happy with this pill or that pill. They send me Viagra and herbs and all kinds, advertisements for herbs and things because they think I'm a man. So I get that. Old Spirit Art, thank you. High and great subject timing. This crap has been winding me up the way women are treated. Good grief. Oh yeah, Desiree, you say the sad thing is with these men when they're bedridden, the ones that they hate always need to provide care for them. Makes me sick as someone in the medical profession. I've had women who have taken their vows very seriously to death us do part, so they've endured their man's cheating for years. And then when they're all broken down and they have nothing to offer, then they want to come home to her because they need a caretaker. They're used up. Mm-mm. Ask me Third Eye, when most women end up raising kids alone and suffering deadbeat dads, I think women should earn more than men. Well, we've never been appreciated for being housewives or mothers that, we're not appreciated because it's not looked at as a gig. It's not looked at it as a job. It's looked at it as that's what's expected of you because you're a woman. You have babies, take care of the babies, take care of the house, and you take care of me when I come home. If a woman is working and goes to the office and have to deal with some bullshit at the office, she still has to come home and take care of the family. So that now we have to beg women to take some time, get some personal time. Oh, I'm sorry, that was rude. Take some time for yourself. You wonder why you're worn out, why you're tired, why you're unhappy, why you want to scream, why you're frustrated, why you're anxious. Sometimes you just run yourself into the ground. And no healer, no one who is a nurturer, who is giving can get you. You can give till you're depleted. It's important. I take time for myself. I will not. When I was working in the corporate and working at night singing, there were certain nights, if I wasn't working on a Friday night, that was my night to decompress. I'd have a beautiful bath and candles and party favors and whatever I was drinking and food, and I would lie in the bathtub, being the rich woman that I am. I wouldn't answer the phone. I didn't want to talk to anybody. And I still detach in this way because we're so addicted to these electronic devices. And now, since the only way that well, it's getting better, but the only way we've been able to communicate over the last year is through these mediums. We've not been able to hug on our relatives, or and if you're alone, you're just alone. We've not had that. To add to the anti-woman dynamic, we have our lesbian sisters and our transgender sisters to add to this anti-woman vibe. Now, I'm not going to go into the nuts and bolts of transgenderism or none of that. I'm not going to do that. I have girlfriends. I have gay friends that when I call them girl because I see a woman's spirit. They are my guy girlfriends. There are so many Black transgender women that are killed each year. Nobody investigates, and my own people won't acknowledge or reverence them. I'm going to do a show on the treatment of the Black community and the Black church of the LGBTQIA community. And if you think, when I say things about white folks, I am honestly giving you my experience as a Black woman in this country. I don't mean to hurt anybody, and I'm not wanting to hurt your feelings. If your feelings are hurt, I apologize. However, sometimes I got to give a straight no chaser, baby. But as hard as I may be on those kinds of issues, I'm equally as hard on what my community has done and is doing. We got some pretty fucked up stuff going on too. Joe Biden has transgender people in his administration. I don't know. I know there's one or two, but they're in the administration not because they're transgender, but because they know what the fuck they're doing. But the transgenderism becomes an issue. Gay women. Vilified. Oh, especially by straight men. They somehow look at a lesbian as being a threat or just confused or whatever. So it becomes all about the man again. All women on a certain level have been disrespected, have been abused, have been taken for granted, have had to endure condescending conversations with their professional peers. Many of us have suffered some kind of emotional, physical, spiritual abuse. The church is the biggest abuser. Organized religion is the biggest abuser, by all means. A lot of this is just really just getting on my nerves. I can't tell you how fucked up it is that Black people are having to fight to vote in this country, with all that we've contributed to it, with all that the media has spread around the world about us as being nothing more than lazy, shiftless thieves, robbers, hoes. I can't tell you how fucked up and angry that gets me sometimes. And that now, when I step out the door, I have to think about something else, because I just might run into somebody who doesn't like the way I look that day. Or I might be like these people were today in the store somewhere. I don't think those women got up expecting that when they went to their place of work. I don't think any of them were thinking they wouldn't make it through the day. I don't think George Floyd got up and thought, I'm going to be killed today. I don't think Tamir Rice got up and thought, I'm going to be killed today. I don't think Sandra Blunt got up and thought, I'm going to be killed today. None of the names, and I don't think that Breonna Taylor went to bed thinking she was going to get killed that night. And all the numerous other stories that we don't hear about people who have perished by gunshots, and somehow the people that commit the murders are they're just not brought to bear. They're not punished. All of this dancing around what it is. We know what it is. I'm in a city. I think Adrienne says she thinks Atlanta's a city. I said it's a hick town with some tall buildings. And I say that mainly because there's so many hicks here. No offense. Well, yeah, I don't give a shit. If you're a hick, you're a hick. Hick thinking. The Marjorie Taylor Greens and the when we are phone banking, the representatives, state representatives and state senators that you speak with, or whose constituents you speak with in the deep, further south, going towards Florida or going north towards Tennessee, in these little towns for entertainment purposes only, where I'm convinced incest, inbreeding, all that shit's going on. I ain't calling no names, but we got a girl. a girl here that I'm convinced y'all know it, Marjorie Taylor Greene. That bitch ain't wide. She ain't right. She knows nothing. She is enjoying the attention. She's enjoying the money. She's enjoying what little bit of clout that she has. See, it's difficult to stand with bitches like that. You know what I'm saying? It's so annoying. You want to get in on the action. Shit. Oh, Lord. Oh, who's asking about it? Amanda Garman was walking to her place. I don't know if she was walking to her. Oh, you said Kate Muldoon, you said it's sick of me with having Amanda Gorman. Yeah, and she was so poetic and so beautiful when she said you can be a hero today and a suspect tomorrow. I paraphrase, but her comment about that incident was just as beautiful and poetic and to the point as she is. I remember when Georgia was considering making what was called the heartbeat law, restricting when a woman could get an abortion. I mean, this whole idea that Democrats are down for late term abortions or whatever. A late term abortion says to me that it's birth. The baby is ready to be born. No Democrat is down with that. That's just more of the freaking lies that we're being told it seems like the last have just we haven't had a chance to recover, have we? It's like we took a breather and then it was back on the thing, back on the track, just attempting to and around this time of year, oh, happy spring. I get very, very, very restless when spring comes. Oh my God, do I get restless? Oof. I want to be out doing things whatever my things are. I get excited about projects and the day that I recorded that garbage video because I was roasted. I was actually in celebration mode because I received a telephone call about something that's really, whew, that's absolutely wonderful. And once it's etched in stone, I will share it. I'm back in the studio. Well, I'm back in the studio and I'm really stretching and bringing some jazz because I'm a jazz chick, some R&B, but everything about me says jazz. So I'm going to be doing some different things, but it will always have a jazz bottom, a jazz feel, because that's what I love. That's what I do. So yeah, springtime. I don't know I've had a difficult time sleeping. I'm anxious to get out of the extended stay and really into my forever home, however long forever is. Even though this has been great, considering I was very depressed when I got here. I shared that in the first video. I was very depressed and had to break this girl down and get her during the middle of a pandemic, had to clean it. I mean, walls, baseboards, washing curtains. There was so much tar and alcohol. You could smell it when cigarettes in here. It was like the nicotine was like water cascading on the mirrors. It took me a minute. And then I began to think when my deal or my proposed deal to be house sitting in Buckhead fell through because of COVID, I began to think, maybe I just needed to sit still until this thing sort of subsided, till we start seeing a brighter day for real. For those of you that have gotten the vaccine or are planning to get it, I'm praying for you and wish you the best. I actually got my first dose. I happened to be in the right place at the right time. I was in Walmart doing something else, and I saw that they were making appointments for the vaccine, and I was going to make an appointment, and the pharmacist says, "Oh, Miss Harnage, we can fit you in today." And I prayed about it. And I talked to my sister about it, who got polio after having taken bad vaccine. To my cousins, that took a whole lot of convincing for me. However, if it means that I will be safe and others will be safe around me, loved ones, strength, whatever. Okay. So I'm not saying one way or the other what you should do. You make the best decision for you. But whatever you do, when you go out, I have masks, I have plastic gloves, I got these fat ass shields that I ordered. They're like, ooh, if you gotta do something, shit, do it. Be colorful about the whole damn thing. Don't be a boring pud. So protect yourself. Protect yourself, especially when you're going out and you're handling, shopping carts and pulling open the handles of doors and all of that. Some people don't wash their ass on a regular basis anyway, so the whole hand washing thing don't mean jack to them. So, yeah. So anyway, I had to come on because I felt like chatting and I really love the video that DDM Dapper Dan Midas, the Secretary of Shade, put up. And in terms of the shootings, it seems that whenever one of these young boys does this, that the law enforcement is extra gentle. They want to say it's a cry for help. It's an act of violence. There are ways to get help. We have to find out later after you shot up a bunch of people and are in custody. We find out later on what you posted on Facebook or on Twitter or what groups you belong to. You had an anti-Asian t-shirt on, boasting about how you loved it. So it's difficult to feel sympathetic or empathetic when these people, these men, I haven't heard about any women doing it yet, but who knows? These white men do this. A cry for help. Now you're going to get some help. And son, you got a sexual addiction. There's plenty of people looking for chicken in the pen. You'll be somebody's bitch. You'll be somebody's baby. If it gets that far. And 70 plus bastards, men, who are terrified that, white men that are terrified that their power is slipping. 70 plus voted against the Women's Protection Act. And their women are standing by, having tea and doing charities and sleeping with these men and actually having children with them. Oh my God, if I was Louis Gohmert's wife, I would have poured cement up my ass. I just simply Woo! I don't know how anybody looked at him and said, ooh, Louis. All right. Mm-mm. They're allowed to procreate. Oh, God. And check this out. Instead of a man getting a vasectomy, in order that we don't have any more children, it's still upon us to take birth control or get a hysterectomy or whatever it is. It's still upon the woman to take responsibility for some asshole's decision. I don't want to get clipped. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Teresa Balthazar, to say tap the thumbs up. Desiree saying they're not saying much about who did and who died. No, I don't. I think it's still being processed, but thank you for the update that there were 10 fatalities. Wow, Rose H, why is it always a woman's problem? Why not teach our boys to be less rapey? Yeah, I'm asking the same damn thing. Why is it? It's all put upon us. Boys will be boys. They can do what they want to do. But if you do what you want to do, you're a hoe. If you enjoy having sex and making love and all that, you're a fallen woman. You're a hoe. That's it. Plain and simple. Well, all the good girls who's giving it up on the sly, getting pregnant and having to go visit Auntie so-and-so in so-and-so state to get rid of a baby, they get a chance to remain honorable women. I think I'll go down to the bottom of this because I was climbing at the crawl to see what was going on. They need to investigate the Russian money that Amy and Kavanaugh took. Girl, let me tell you something. Thank you, Senator Whitehouse. The fact that Senator Whitehouse has called out Kavanaugh's investigation. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Amy got a reason to be nervous too. That's why she's trying to fly under the radar. K Muldoon, don't feel sorry for me, girl. I am victorious. I am a survivor, and I am stronger for it. No, when it happened, it threw me. I was in a tailspin for a long time because I said it didn't end with the rape. I just don't feel like discussing the rest of the adventure or story because it's highly emotional. But I'm victorious, and if anyone, any man, especially tries to hurt me, anymore, I'm just they would really need to start getting this shit in order because I would be scheming and figuring out ways to get you, and I'll get you, So I protect myself. Rose H, did the Democrats end up pushing that protection line? I think they might have. I like your comment. It's a global epidemic for strong women, women of color, women of oppression are continually broken down, throwing the problems with gun control, and you have a horror show. That's correct, Rose. And you know what? The world is watching us. We can't hide anymore. We can't put ourselves out there as being the most fabulous country on earth. I mean, we are fabulous in many ways, don't get me wrong. I understand why people, having traveled, I understand around the world, I understand why people look at this country and want to come here. I get it. It seems like the only ones complaining are Americans, but we can no longer set ourselves up as being these beacons of for the men in this country, the shiny being fighting for women's rights and blah, 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 blah. We can't do that. We can't tell Saudi Arabia how to treat their women. We can't tell the Afghans, the Iraqis, the Iranians, anybody in the Middle East, anybody in China, anybody in Africa. We can't stand up and say a goddamn thing about how they treat their women. Because from where I sit, America, you're not doing much better. You're not doing much better. Mm-mm. We need to show up and show out, ladies. We need to show them. We need to continue to speak as loudly as we did when thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of women flooded the streets around the world in protest after Trump, that day after he was sworn in or inaugurated or whatever went down. When we entered into some kind of black fucking hole and been trying to climb out of it ever since. I'd love it. I'd love it. And in terms of racism, I don't know that we'll ever get rid of it because it's like recycled stinking garbage. It's just stinking, rank. It's a virus. We may not get rid of it. But those of us who outnumber Caucasians, white people worldwide, you know, 3/4 of the world is filled with people of color. So, you know, y'all were ever the majority. You just were you were more brutal. When you saw something you wanted, you just took it, especially the British. And the reason they were able to just take shit is because the tribal ways, the weapons used couldn't contend with cannons and gunfire and all of that. But a bit of interesting history. Ethiopia was the only nation state that wasn't colonized. And the British came in first and tried to do it. They got run off by the tribesmen there. So, and when the Italians came in with their big armies, it was like they killed 6,000 and captured 3,000. Ethiopia simply wasn't having it. Colonization. But I digress. I just wanted, you know, in the future, I am making some plans for the show. Sometimes it will have we will have cards and fun. I think at our next petty party, though, it'll be girls' night out. It'll be Adrienne, if she's able to come on, and Blissful Divination, and myself. And I'd like us to have a real good girly time talking on the real about the things that women like to talk about. Yeah, man, we talk. And we can get pretty down, pretty raw with it, baby. We can talk about, so if you have, I don't have a community tab yet, but if you have suggestions about things, and I really think it's, you know, we can discuss intimacy, we can discuss whatever. It'll be girl talk. So bring your cocktail and your popcorn or your treat or whatever it is and join us. But I guess this is about it. I just feel that Americans America has turned back the last 4 years. It feels like we've gone into some kind of time warp. A rapist, gangster, for entertainment purposes only, YouTube, and a hoe, a gangster, rapist, misogynist, racist. Did I say racist? Abuser of women, gangster can become the president of the United States and he can bring his hoe with him. All right. That's America. Dreams do come true, I guess. It can happen to you, you know. Yeah. I hope to let me get my phone out to get the date for the next petty party. And I really thank all of you, my mods and you have become my little family, you know. Gosh, spring has sprung, the grass has risen, and I'm breathing in all of it. My nose and my eyes, oh my goodness. So it's time to arm up with the Zyrtec nose juice, Navage, drops. It is not cute to be wearing makeup and looking like Gomez Adams because your makeup is running, okay? Not cute at all. Well, it looks like the next time you see me, it will be in April. Oh my goodness, how the year is flying by. Oh, can you believe it? Oh my goodness, the next time you see me will be the 3rd of April. Yeah, the 3rd of April. Good grief. Time waits for no one. I hope that you are feeling fabulous because spring is here. I hope you're excited about new projects, new ideas, revisiting some old projects with a different perspective, new thought. This is a season of love and intimacy. It's time to be booed up, y'all. I just love spring, summer, and fall. I love December. Winters here because they're very short. You know, they hit and they're gone. So I can tolerate that because I spent enough time up in the snow, and it's cute when you don't have to go out in it. You know, in Lake Tahoe, I was your lovely hostess at the bar. I was not trying to get on the slopes and do jack. I love this time of year. And it is the time for new things. I just feel like brand new. Just brand new. So I'm going to thank you again for coming to Petty Party. I really do appreciate that because when I come on, it's usually about time for me to blow out some steam, and you all allow me to do that. You allow me to do that, and I appreciate that. And again, I know I'm not for everyone, so I really do thank and love those of you who have come on every time you see me going live or sign up for Petty Party. To my moderators, thank you so much. It's growing, and I'm thinking about how to keep it fresh and interesting. Oh, I did promise you a funny story, didn't I? All right, I got two. One is about a Karen. She goes into a store without a mask and is told she can't enter the store because she doesn't have a mask. She has to have a mask. This chick reached underneath her dress, took off her panties, and put them over her face, saying, "Now I have a mask." All I can say is I hope she washed her ass real good that morning because I cannot imagine walking around the store with a pair of my panties that I just, no, see, that's some wild shit. All right. Now the second one, I like to watch all documentaries. So when I'm on my downtime, I go in and binge watch a lot of the documentaries that I've found and saved on YouTube. And I really love the documentaries that educate us, the ones in Africa, the customs and stuff in Asia, just in places that I might be sort of familiar with and not familiar with at all. Anyway, there's a pastor, a prophet. Now they're very serious. Christians, African Christians are very serious. They will stay in church for 7 hours. They will be there praising God, bringing down. I mean, it's an event when they go to church. Well, there's this man. He's one of the title of the video was about being a millionaire profit for profit, PROPHET, for PROFIT. So this gentleman from Britain traveled to see this millionaire prophet pastor. Well, at the first service he attended, a 24-year-old woman came to the platform, and she told the pastor that she had been violated by a demon. Now, okay, in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, bitch, you're out fornicating, you out having sex without marriage, and the demon is some big black stud that you hooked up with, and now you might be pregnant. That's just me thinking, okay. She tells the pastor that she's been invaded by a demon and she needs him to help her with that issue. So the people pray and they lay hands on her, and she falls down to the floor, which is called being slain in the spirit. She falls down to the floor and rolls over on her back, and he puts his laboutin, his gaiters, on her crotch and prays the demon out. Now, and at that particular, now that was like, whoa, I'm not from that part. I don't understand that, okay? I've been in some churches, and in black church, you will witness some things, but I have never been witness a pastor putting his foot on a woman's vagina and exorcising demons. Okay, but he went further than that and told all the women to go out and buy panties or to bring panties to the next service so that he could bless the panties and what he calls their biscuit. Their vaginas are their biscuit. He's going to bless the biscuits and bless the panties. Again, I've been in churches and I've seen many things. And the pastor might be getting some panties, but I ain't never had no pastors ask the women in his congregation to bring panties to a service in order that they might be blessed and that your biscuit might also be blessed. Crazy shit. Crazy. And the women are doing it. And his ceremonies can hold like 7,000 people. I mean, when those men, those evangelicals come out, these people show up in it's like going to your favorite musician, your favorite concert or something. So with that, I just want to, thanks for coming on. May your panties be blessed and your biscuit remain healthy. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Oh boy, it's 11:30. I didn't know. How time flies when you're having fun. Thank you for coming on. And I'll try to do more of these little chit chat things in the future. It's just that I have to wait until something hits me to do it. It's like I just can't come on just for the sake of doing it. I really feel better when I actually have something to say. So thank you for discussing. Thank you for coming on to hear my rant about this anti-woman thing that's going down in this country. I know that you cannot suppress the divine feminine. We are strong. You know, Betty White said everybody's talking about telling men to grow a pair of balls. They need to grow vaginas because those things can take a beating. So, yeah, we can't even call them pussies. So I'll find something else. Hopefully I'll find another one of these strange as hell stories. Blessing the panties. I wonder if that'll protect you from chlamydia and non-specific vaginitis. Thanks again, y'all. Have a good night.